I have only one mouth, but I have two ears, and I think my ears ought to be protected as well as my mouth. We need freedom of hearing today, as well as freedom of speech. This chapter deals with freedom of speech in God's university, which is another way I have labeled this particular chapter. I also like the title, God Bugs Our Conversation. There is no question that God has the right to bug or listen in on our conversations. He has had that right all for a long time, and He has heard everything that you and I have said. It is estimated that the average person says about 30,000 words every day. I know two or three people who exceed that number. That is enough to make a good sized book. In a lifetime, you and I could fill a library with words we have said. God has that recorded, by the way, because He bugs your conversation. I suppose that the present day movement for freedom of speech began at the Berkeley campus of the University of California some years ago. It was given coverage by the news media out of all proportion uh, to its importance. That news coverage itself was another attempt at brainwashing. A great many taxpayers and prominent citizens were concerned that this great university, which is supported by their tax money, could be shut down and made a ridiculous spectacle by a few radicals, while in the commentary is taking it a little lightly. He calls them beatniks and hicks and hippies and a whole bunch of names besides radicals whenever he is on the radio program. While the majority of the students were intimidated and their good intentions of getting an education were reflected upon. Now, the problem of freedom of speech is not only out yonder in the university and in the news media, but it is in the church also. The problem is the church is is the problem of gossip. Each one of us who is a Christian needs to be concerned about our freedom of speech. Just as I do with the book of Proverbs, I like the epistle of James, and my father in law, Daryl Shepard, underscored epistle of James to a course in God's University. James is the dean of God's University as we consider this controversial subject, and he has quite a bit to say concerning the use and abuse of the tongue. We have seen it in this epistle that God tests faith in many different ways. Here, and Daryl underscores this as well, God tests our faith by our tongue. We want to reach up on the shelf of the laboratory of life and take out an acid to test our faith. Actually, this acid is more potent than hydrochloric or sulfuric or any other acid. The label on the bottle is tongue. However, we are not talking about the chemistry of the tongue, but about the theolo- theology of the tongue. James has already indicated that he was going to come to this subject. He said back and Daryl underscores this section, chapter 1, verse 26. If any man among you seem to be religious and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. He also said, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak. That's James chapter 1 and verse 19. And you have two ears, and God gave them to you so that you can hear twice as much as you can say. So I'm going to put